So as being a national media member as well as a local radio host, how do you think the national media has done covering Jokic and the Nuggets throughout the NBA playoffs this year?
Oh, I think I think they've done a horrible job. Um, but I understand why. I understand the Nuggets don't rate.
Yeah.
I understand the game. I get it. People here in Denver are real butthurt about it, but it's been a motivational factor for Michael Malone and his Nuggets. So, hey man, it has been so much fun for me as just a as a competition fan to watch the Nuggets play and to even see the skill set. And I always knew how skilled Nikola Jokić was or is. Um, but I think the other thing, some of the nuanced stuff, just the physicality that he plays with, and he beats people to a pulp. I mean, DeAndre Ayton just tapped out of game 6 with sore ribs. He's like, I don't want to do this anymore. Um, and I'm telling you, he just beats people up. We got to do this thing. And I don't know how it came up on my radio show. If you look at Nikola Jokic's arms, they're all scratched up. They got these huge scratches. And so I established on my radio show that I believe his brothers hold a underground fighting ring called Circus Club, and it's where you have to wrestle Serbian bears. And the whole thing is, you tap on the door and they open the little window. And to get into Circus Club, you have to say, if he dies, he dies. And then, he goes, in this corner, we've got 7 foot tall, 285 pounds, Nikola Jokic. And in this corner, Bear, go, and so it's this whole ridiculous thing on the radio show that people have tended to love. But it does, like, the guy just beats people up. And I get it. This just goes back to the 2007 Rockies that had Rocktober, won 21 and 22 games and got to the World Series. And, they just went right through the National League and had to wait around to face Boston. And then Boston actually swept them. But, if you go back and look at that cover, you go back and look at what ESPN was doing. Let's introduce you to the Colorado Rockies. They play baseball in Colorado, and it's a mile high, and they've got a humidor, and I mean the whole thing was like it was laughable. But again, like nobody in the NBA wanted the Nuggets here. Nobody in television wanted the Nuggets here, and they don't want Miami either. But like I said earlier, man, the two most physically tough, mentally tough teams are in the NBA Finals, and it says something about all the load management baloney and all the crap that we as fans have to put up with right now. It says something about the two teams that to me are mentally and physically the toughest teams.
Does the city of Denver hold a grudge against the national media for the way the Nuggets have been covered, or is it more
Oh,
just
oh
like a
yeah.
narrative that the Nuggets play into?
Oh no, 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 no. The whole city does. Oh yeah. I thought something Stephen A. Smith put out, and he's a dear friend of mine, but he says that do I want to go to Denver? No, I'd rather go to LA. I mean, it's just it's how the national media feels. I mean, Brian Windhorst, and I love, Brian is a guy that I work with forever at ESPN too.
Right.
He said after the Nuggets swept the Lakers, it was the greatest performance by a team that's been swept in NBA history. What? What? That's your analysis? It's like, oh my gosh, it was the great. Like, really? Like, hey, let's take it to the best of 13. Let's just go. Let's just keep moving on until the Lakers can win one. I mean, it's mind boggling. But I totally, from a television perspective, I totally get it. I understand why they do it.
Right.
And now they'll be throwing roses at Nikola and the Nuggets um, but my boy Michael Malone won't buy into that garbage. He'll keep them on edge. And one thing about professional athletes is you know they're competitive, and and they do hear that stuff, and it there is a motivational factor. Like when the ball's tipped, I always say this about bulletin board material. Once the ball's tipped, nobody gives a crap. I never sat back at Super Bowl 32 being, 11 and a half point underdogs or whatever. sitting on the bench as we're playing the game going, they disrespected us. That doesn't come up. But if it hones your focus, if it hones the focus of your team during the course of the week of preparation, then that has to have a positive effect during the game. And I think that's really more than anything else what it does to have that quote unquote bulletin board material for a team.